Okay, my greasy, oily friends out there, listen. I always think that a lot of us think there is no hope when it comes to making our makeup last a really long time or staying on our skin a lot longer. But listen, there's some very easy fixes, very easy ways to make your makeup last a lot longer. Some rules we have to stick to, you know, because skin is still skin. It's still going to work like skin, but let's strip it back, not take it back to basics because we're beyond that now. But some things that you may be practicing within your makeup routine may be actually hindering the ability of your makeup to last as long as it should. I'm going to take you through a very simple prep routine for your makeup, but also talk about how you should finish up your makeup. And it's not going to be what you think, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up. If you like shorter tips like this, follow me over on Instagram at RobertWLSH. I will see you over there. Let's just get straight into it. One mistake I know for a fact a lot of you are making is not prepping your skin because you think that moisture is going to hurt your makeup. Listen, we all know this. We all know this isn't a thing, right? So let's talk about those stages. A lot of people with oilier, greasier skin we tend to have larger pores. We tend to have, you know, a little bit more texture, maybe even some dehydration around the nose. Let's refine that skin texture a little bit before we start anything. I always talk about the Porefect pads. These are very gently exfoliating pads that you can absolutely use daily. They're like this, little heart shapes. And listen, you don't have to take them around the whole face. You can use them in those areas where you do get a little bit drier, a little bit more textured, a little bit more oily around the nose, the middle of the forehead, around the nostrils here, which tends to be the place where oil just oozes out of our face, right? Give yourself a good light exfoliation with those. Now, again, we don't exfoliate every single day because that could also fuck up our skin. But these are fine to use daily. They're gentle. They're gonna help though with that texture. I sometimes find a lot of us with those larger pores, a lot comes out, especially if you're in like a more hot climate. If I go to somewhere humid, and I look at my skin at the end of the day, I'm like, I can see into my skin. I can see into my face. My pores are so large. So make sure we are refining those pores, taking out what we can and giving ourselves a smoother surface before we start anything. As I recommend these products as well, please don't think you need to buy exactly this product. I want you to bear in mind texture, formula, the words that are used to describe these formulas, because that's going to be the main thing. Let's think about like lips, right? If your lips are really cracked and dry, what do? You use something really rich, really hydrating on them, as rich as you can to get it back to, you know, how it was before. If you think about it like skin, if you had dry skin, then you would do that. So if we're using those kind of richer formulas to deeply hydrate, you want to do the opposite with our oilier skin and lightly hydrate with those lighter formulas. One thing a lot of people aren't using in their skincare routine, whether or not it's because they think they are outdated or, you know, they used to do something different way back when, or maybe a dermatologist has said you don't need them. Toners. Toners are incredible under makeup. Reason being is a lot of toners now do a lot more than that toning stage. You know what I mean? This one, the Laneige Cream Skin, is probably one of the most incredible toners for oily skin because it does more than just tone. Loads of toners do this. The non-buzzing one, for example, which I love, they are more like serums. So if we're thinking about oily skin and trying to hydrate our skin as much as possible without over-hydrating, a product like a toner that does more than one thing is perfect. It's going to be absorbed by your skin. It's not going to sit on top. It's not going to give you greasy skin. This is quite literally a toner and a moisturizer. You could wash your face, exfoliate with a pad or whatever, use this, sunscreen, done. That could quite literally be your prep for under makeup. Now, in an evening routine, that's something completely different. We are talking about your makeup routine before your makeup, right? Your skincare routine before your makeup. It needs to be a little bit different. So keywords for this: milky toner, creamy toner. That toner that feels like a thick water that is going to treat your skin, hydrate your skin. Loads of brands do them now. Loads of brands do a milky toner. And I have to say, I have not used one that I really did not like. Tage do a beautiful one, for example. I just love the one from Laneige because it is the perfect texture for me. It's not too thick. It's not too serum-like. It is more watery in terms of its formula. They also do the sprays for cream skin ceramide mist, which you can use in the same way. So we're thinking about that texture, that watery, lightweight texture. So we've cleansed, we've exfoliated gently, which you don't have to do every day, but you can. We've toned. We're using small amounts of each product as we go, but making sure that our skin doesn't feel tight. We're making sure we still feel hydrated. Eye cream. Okay, this is another thing that I feel like skincare experts don't really care about or don't really recommend you using. Or not really recommend, it's more of a like, you don't have to use this recommendation. I love eye creams for under eye makeup. We all sometimes get that dry skin like up in here, or maybe our lids, the makeup, eye makeup drags a little bit. But also we have quite oily eyelids. Oily skin does need to be balanced out with hydration and moisture too. Eye cream doesn't mean heavy. You get eye gels, eye serums. This is from Medicube. I really like the brand Medicube. I know it's super overhyped at the moment, but you know, I'm a Medicube fan. I have all their, oh, you can't see them on camera. I have all their facial tools, all their cleansing tools, everything like that. This is their Kojic Acid Turmeric Vita Eye Gel Serum. The key word, serum. That lightweight, not moisturizer, serum. So quickly absorbed, watery almost. And again, serum, because it's not over hydrating. You don't get that creamy, rich texture you do from a lot of eye creams that are usually made to be super rich. Again, use those super rich eye creams in the evening, but for the daytime, if you do get greasy eyelids, if your makeup creases under the eye here, we want to hydrate, but we want to be balanced on both areas. Because if we overhydrate under the eyes, we're going to get that creasing, that separation of concealer. If we overhydrate in the eyelids, again, we're adding too much moisture and everything's going to break down. Serums, however, again, pack that punch with moisture, with hydration, but it's a lightweight texture. That is what you want. It's easy, right? So we're thinking about the formulas, the textures, serums. Let's talk about moisturizer then, because a lot of people think moisturizer, moisture. On my oily skin, I don't think so. This one again is from Laneige. This is from their whole like shine control range. This is called Balance Mode Shine Control Weightless Moisturizer. Now this doesn't actually have a keyword in it when it comes to knowing what the formula or texture is like before you use it. However, it is a very lightweight, well, I guess it says lightweight, fluid. I would describe this as a fluid moisturizer. That fluid texture being just above a serum in terms of how much moisture it has. But again, completely disappeared and absorbed by the skin. This whole range, if you are someone who loves to use a range of products, this one from Laneige is beautiful. They do a peel-off mask, they do a face wash as well, which has rice in it, which really helps to balance out moisture and, oil in the skin. So on the skin, all we have is a creamy toner and a lightweight lotion and our eye cream. So we still have so much hydration, so much moisture going on, but not invasive to our makeup, and it doesn't feel greasy or sticky on the skin, right? Let's talk about the one thing everybody with oily skin fucking hates on their skin: sun cream, SPF. Sunscreen, which I don't think you're allowed to call it anymore. No, sunblock, you're not allowed to call it anymore. I am a little bit puzzled, and this isn't me undermining anyone, but some people say to me a lot in comments, SPFs are so thick, like how am I meant to choose one? Guys, we're in 2026. There is so much option for you to use under your makeup when it comes to SPF. Lightweight, super lightweight. This is from, I believe it's called Tage. This is their Cica-Tree water jelly. This is probably one of the most lightweight SPFs I've ever used in my life. Water jelly. Those keywords: watery, jelly-like. You don't think jelly and think over-hydrating, over-creamy, overly milky. It's like, again, it's like a serum. It's lightweight serum. It is so, so beautiful underneath your makeup. And it's the highest protection. It's SPF 50 PA+++++++. When this is on the skin, you won't feel it. It doesn't feel like you're on the beach and you're like, oh shit, I better put on some SPF that is so heavy, so creamy that it's gonna like ruin my makeup, or you know, or you're gonna feel it suffocating your skin. It is not like that. It does not have to be like that anymore. They even do this other one. If you prefer something that you can feel a little bit when it comes to SPF, I know some people like to have this more like, I can feel the feeling of SPF on my skin. This is their Cica-Tree Invisible Sun Gel. This almost has Silicone is the wrong word, but it does have that velvety slip to the skin. So if you use a primer, like a pore filling primer or a pore smoothing primer, something like this would be good to replace that primer with, because it does have that same slippy smoothing ability as a primer does. And we want to keep our layers down as much as we can to a minimum, right? But we still want everything there. So we can knock out our primer. Primers aren't always necessary, and get that smoothness and that, say you use something like Porefessional, right? Not one of my favorite ones, but I'm comparing like the texture. This is a good go-to for that, because it has that smoothness to it. It does smell a little bit more like sunscreen, but it has that powdery, velvety finish to it. So if you're not even going to wear makeup and you do like that matte appearance with your sunscreen, perhaps you don't like how greasy it makes you look, this is the one to go for. How are we going to finish our makeup when we are greasy people? I always say it is easier to repair your makeup throughout the day than it is to set with a loads of powder and then repair later on. When you have loads of powder in an area and your oil gets involved in that makeup, it creates a bit more of a different texture. You know, it's harder to tap just into place. You might need to reapply some of your makeup. You then repowder again, and that's when you start to get that cakiness, that dryness, that appearance of, I'm wearing too much makeup. The best thing to do when we're finishing our makeup is to use like a setting spray, a mattifying setting spray to give that matte effect. You can even buy those like matte powdery sprays. H&B Cosmetics is a really great one. Fui do a really nice one as well if you can get your hands on it. I haven't tried a one size one yet, but I would like to. Waiting for it to come to the UK is horrible. Your oils are still going to get involved in that, let's be real, but it slows down that time between that happening. As an oily person, carry a little sponge around with you, a little brush, something that you can just tap over those areas, perhaps tap a little bit more concealer on, and you're done. So we're using minimal powder. If you are powdering your whole face in fear that your foundation is going to move, that your foundation is going to get oily or greasy, you are making it difficult to repair later on in the day. Okay. I hope that all makes sense. I hope that helps. That was kind of just a quick one because I just wanted to put the information out there so greasy and oily people can come back to this video throughout all time and see that there is certain steps you should take and can take, and your makeup can actually last a really long time. If I can make my makeup last in humid, hot weather as a severely greasy person, so can you at home wherever you are. Alright, thank you so much again for joining me. Give this video a thumbs up. Like I said, if you like this kind of information, follow me on Instagram at RobertMUA or on TikTok at, I can't remember what it is, I'll put it on the screen. Alright guys, I'll see you soon. Bye.